Yeah. Let's see. Let me just say the minutes of SEUDAS PURIM as part of it. Okay, we had a little bit of Shefa that we were working on. We were on number Mem, and then I think there's a Mem Aleph that goes along with it. And we'll just take a look at them. He said the quote was from the Rav. He says, "V'chayisod the Abba Nikrat Tzadik Noisin Lot Tzedakah." So this was the concept of Matanas Levyonim. We went through that idea before about how the Nook is set up and built up by the Nai of, I guess, of both Abba and Ima coming into the Nook and builds her, and she is a Dal of Aniyah. So he's like, all the rest of the days of the week. This concept notes saying Tzedakah, is Yisod of Zer Anpin. It's Yisod of Zer Anpin that's putting into the Nook, that's building her up. Should be called Hoshana, Zer Anpin hu habone komas anok. Let me see, I've got to make a little mistake here, 1 second. There we go. So he says Avara B'Purim, Nosis Tzedakah hu bebechinas Yosef Ma'ula, but on Purim, this is the thing we have to, our Karvana has to be understood, is that this setup of the Nook, the building of the Nook, which is Rachel or Esther, Bechinas Yisod the Abba Shenikta the Selcha Nook, this is the Yisod of Abba that does all of this. It enters into the Nook, the V'nois is Partsufa, in order to build her Partsuf. Okay, another one is number Mem Aleph. Mem Aleph says, Noisa Nochat Tzedakah on Betanas Aros. So he gives her tzedakah, he gives her gifts, and he gives her light, or radiance. Tzarek lihizar the kaim the kaim mitzvahs asay shal tzedakah. So this is very important, he says. V'gam the kaim tekanas Mordechai ve'Esther she'ikar hatekana hiu t'ribbonim. Now, let me just see if I can understand that. He says the main tekana gam l'kaim tekanas Mordechai ve'Esther. What does it mean, the kanas of Mordechai ve'Esther? So I guess it means going into Esther, building up Esther, and then shining out like Mordecai did, Mordecai does. So she'ikra hatekana he of the Rabbanan. Avach b'zman hakiyam makayim mitzvahs the arisal shel tzedakah. But at the time that you do this, what you need to do, or what you're actually doing, is you're fulfilling the mitzvah of tzedakah. V'lechein sarg, which is the raisa. So in other words, the actual acts that you're doing, like he's talking about the Purim Suda in a minute, and reading the Megillah, he says could be that is some of the mitzvah for that. It sounds like he's saying is the Rabbanan, but the actual events that are taking he says Bizman Hakiyam Akayim a mitzvah the arise when you give the tzedakah. So therefore you have to have all the things in mind. V'ayim b'sefer Yisod v'shorish havoda shar hamafked perek shishi shekosov zadashono haboker or v'ranashim yishtukol as yadam lahadar b'kiyam hamitzvah shal metanas lavyonim kodem v'tefillah. So I'm not sure if a yishtukol is yado lahadar, if it means to return, B'kiyam a mitzvah, to come back to the mitzvah, or that it's a hitter. Metanas evyonim konam tefillah, b'gadei sheyuchal evyon, so that the poor person would have enough money before you got into the whole davening, lahachin sorchi ad suda, to be able to prepare what he needs for the suda. Says if v'kodem yishlach metanos evyonim, so before the metanos are sent to the evyonim. Yomer, one should say, b'simcha tzuma, with a lot of joy. The shem yichud, this phrase, the shem yichud. Hareini muchan the kayim mitzvahs aseh. So he said, I guess it's the rest of it. Hareini muchan the kayim mitzvahs aseh shekazim b'toraseinu kedusha shetzivanu yotzri bore baruch hu shemo baruch hu shemo. Shall nason titen you should certainly give. V'shechel betuch tiftaf, certainly open up. V'gam mitzvah aseh shel kabbalah, that is the mashluach Mishluch umatanos. So he says shel kabanim umatanos levyonim. So you're doing that. I'd can. Man nichvera b'chayom ha'zera v'hu ha'older al kol shar yemos hashana b'mitzvah tzedakah. What's so special about this day? So he said, ki b'yom hazeh osa ana b'mitzvah tzedakah tikunim nifloim gedolim v'nerocha b'midos v'midos v'olamos al yonim v'gedoshim v'ein tachlis yosef v'b'shar chayomim. So I guess what you're doing is this whole process of bringing, I guess I'm thinking maybe the process of giving is really like, say, giving with your right hand. It's really like a very masculine type of thing, which is reflects Abba, just thinking that. So this is what actually is the emergence of Abba, and the mochim coming from Abba. So you have to multiply and do a lot more. Even if it's more than you can afford. So that yichud that the Mekalim have used. It's apparently in the Sidurim. Amnam b'kafachayim. Over the Kafachayim comes over and he says a causes lashon shall l'shem yichud. He has his own v'zel l'shanu hareini bal l'kayim mitzvahs b'tanis levyonim. I'm coming to do this. Shetiknach Mordechai v'Esther, which was really set up and built by Mordechai and Esther. Aliten b'yom zer b'shtei matanos, 2 gifts. L'shnei anim, the 2 different poor people. The Sakin as Shorish, etc. B'tzarach Eon. There's more on that. Okay, so let's see in the time that we have now. We can go back to page Mem Gimel. And in page Mem Gimel, here we go. We'll start on number Nun Aleph. Here it is. Nun Aleph. So this is called the Sod Mitzvah's SEUDAS Purim. What's the big thing about the mitzvah of the Suda of Purim? So once we have the reading in the Megillah, what was the first part? I'm in memory here. Shemegillas Esther, and then he says She'ana Osi v'Purim Hu Gedei L'Kayim Ha'aretz. Okay, so let's go on. So he says B'chilach Hashenis He Ki Achar Shenisaklim parts of Rachel Atzmos, that after we've already built the parts of Rachel, so we said that we those do 2 things. Giving the tzedakah matanas the yonim, Rachel is the avyon. But what you need to do is to keep those mochim inside of Rachel and continue to build her up. Hamislavshim toch parts of Esses spheres, which is clothed inside of the parts of the 10 spheres Shalom, based on Dormita Genoida at the time of Dormita, as is known. B'chilach Hasheni, so he explains. Hamshach Ha'aretz Yisod the Abba L'tzorach Tikkun parts of Rachel. V'kib L'chabachanuk Ha'aretz Ha'ru'im Law, that she's not being built up the way she needs to be. So now we're coming to the mitzvah of the Matanas of Yonim. Hamshach Ha'aretz Yisod Abba L'chutz Shetichia Begilui. Ayedeh Kriyas and Megillah. So we're doing this. So first we gave shalach manos. So we gave money to the Evyon, and we built up. That's Abba entering in, or Abbaim, or the Nai coming in. Anas rich and the kaim ha'aretz hamochim shelo. So we have to sustain it. Shehem hamochim atman hamislavshim be'ezes svira shelo. These are the mochim themselves that are going to become into her 10 spheros. So this is how we are going to keep the mochim in there. Call let me see if I'm in the right place. Call Hayom, the extension of the whole thing. So they'll just stay with her the whole Purim, and that's part of what we're doing. Now, what's the topic here? He hasn't mentioned food. But he's telling us that these things are done in order to maintain the position of the Nook, where she has Abba inside of her and shining. That we know that we should keep these mochin inside of her, kolcha yamim ahema nikroim purim, which are called purim, v'yashar kayamasham, and it should remain standing there or sustain itself there. Afal gav im yistalkul l'mochin, and this is when, even we understand that with this build-up of the nook, you're building her up like this, she is eventually, that's a Nasira, there's going to be a Nasira there, and she's going to come around to the front. V'hav gam im yistalkul l'mochin the abba v'ibachim b'achar dormita, so the dormita is over. She's been built up, and now she's around the front. V'tachzer panim b'panim, and she's going to go back like that. Im kol zechat tisha ha'aras ha'mochin b'achim kaimim b'mochin shalom. But this, during this Purim holiday, the mochim stay in her. Below yistalkul l'gamri, which is normally what we happen after Shmona Esrei, and we have this yichud in Shmona Esrei, things start to go away. So he said, so this ha'ara that the roof, that the nook receives, is the sarch, this kind of tishar harasa that you have to remain there. Being her mokim called Yemei Purim. This is the idea of the May. That's funny, he says Yemei Purim. Isn't that plural? So he means to say that this ha'ara remains. I'm just really confused about, between the 14th and the 15th. I understand the halacha about which is which, but it seems to be, from what we saw, is that after the 14th, if you're in an unwalled city, then Purim is over. But apparently he says, this is the plural here, Kol Yemei Purim is because of the 15th for walled cities, and so therefore it's over there. But in other words, it moves. That's what it seems like to me. Anyway, Kol Yemei Purim, Gam be'ez shechoshim zer anpin v'nuk panim b'panim. Even at that time, this light continued to shine. V'oz, then his mistalkim ha'mochin b'mena, the mochin leave her, as we had said. V'chozichem el tos zer anpin. And then all the rest of the days, that normal days, this would be the end of it. Because normally, after the dormita, the light is gone that you had during the period where Zer Anpin was sleeping, and the mochin went into the nook. And now in Ba'ava, in the Shmona Esrei, you have a position where they're going to go face to face. There could be a yichud over there. Purim, and then it's gone after that. But then after Shachris, it's gone. But in Purim, this is the big kavanah that I want to have, is that I want to be able to remember that this light is continuing to shine in all the parties that we do, or sort of festival aspect that we have. That it is the ha'ara who will remain, and it should remain. The mochin should be there. Lo yistalkul legamri. They will not leave at all. Okay, so we have a few minutes. Let's look and see if I can pick out a Sheva HaKavanos here. Was there a Nun Gimel? Oh, there's one more. I'm sorry. So, Inyan Zera Talroi B'kiyam Mitzvah Cheres. So what is this he's talking about? Or did I read this? I missed it. What did I do? He says, Mitzvah Cheres, V'hila aso SEUDAS PURIM mishta v'simcha, is that there's another mitzvah that we have to do besides we gave money. We have read the Megillah, and now there's something else. V'lakayim es amochin the abba v'ibach b'tocha nok, kol yemei Purim, all through the days of Purim. Tolu b'kiyam mitzvahs SEUDAS PURIM umishta v'simcha, so this all really depends on the things that we're doing here, and particularly about the mitzvahs SEUDAS PURIM. And this is the joy that the drinking and the joy that we have there. So he said, there are two different bechinas and benuk that are done in the nook al yedei abba ve'imba b'zman dormita, at the time of the dormita. What is that? Bechina achas hi tigun partzufa ba'atzma ba'ezes sphirishabo. So the first part is this. So he was saying like we're having Purim, right? And this process is going on right now. Maybe in the beginning, when you read the Megillah and so on and so forth at nighttime, I'm thinking that the atmosphere it's just started, just started. And so what the start is the entrance of the mochin of Abba into, and, well, just not Abba, but the mochin after the Dormita. There's going to be a Dormita here. and we're bringing up the nutfa. So it's a little dark because of the Dharmita, I guess. So it should be because that. The Bechina Nosefes, then there's another aspect, which is what? He said, Nosefes who, ha-mokshe niklusu ba, those mochin that went into her. V'hamatanas the avyonim, so he says the matanas that we give to the avyonim, who could negate the Bechina Rishonah to take a partzufa. So that is the concept of building up her partzuf. So you're able to maintain this glow that's coming from the Yisod of Abba, the Torah's Yisod of Abba, who could negate the second Bechina, which is the to fulfill the Mochem the Nazbo, in other words, do what they have to do. That's why we make the Suda. We make the Suda and the drinking and so on and so forth, and the tremendous joy that we have there. Like his Shire Banuk, in order to remain, all this could remain in the Nuk Ha'araz HaMochim, Shemaknisim Bo Be'ez Dormit. And this is interesting that he's saying that this party that we have, or the Suda that we have, which has a lot of joy and, so on and so forth in it, this has to do with ultimate Hushamuchim Vanik Nazimbo, is to make give possible for the mochin to be able to continue to work. Those mochin will stay with her. Call the yom ha'ara beseder kaseder blo hapsaka. So the hara will continue. The ha'ara will continue. That's the whole idea. The Suda. Now, I'm just thinking. What exactly is, there's different parts to that, so we have to see that later. What does the Achila and the Shtia have to do with it? I think we have a little bit more time, and so we'll look at number Mem Beis in the bottom of page Mem Daled. He says, V'im kol zet tishar ha'aras ha'mochem ahim kaimim b'mocha shalom v'lo yistalku legamre k'shar chazamanim, and it will not leave her like every other time. Kazav v'shem and salsam v'zal l'shono. And you're saying like this, that after they go why do you have to keep these lights going? Because now there's a yichud taking place between Zer Anpin and the Nuk, and Zer Anpin has all these mochin inside of him. So he's giving her. So he says, why wouldn't that be sufficient? So especially if you say, well, it's going to keep this yichud going on and on and on, but why do we have to make this effort to talk about the Yisod of Abba? V'yesh lomer the oz kashuhu pana beponim. Mekabelas yedeh amrins oros muatim, but the amount of light that she gets in that situation, because it's coming through Zeranpin, is going to be limited. For her oros and mekabelas he atzmach and ba'abach ve'ima atzmach, and what she's getting. The aura, the ha'ara, those are the word oros. When she gets mochin from they themselves, which is first hand, b'shasa dormita, who or ra b'li masach, there's no filter, nothing blocking and nothing screening. The oz of shefa, shahoy mekabel zer ampin kodem eshena. So let's talk about that. Mekabelas he atzbech al yidei atzma. She's getting it by herself. She doesn't get it through Zeranpin. That's what happens in the Dormita. So then they leave her. They go back into Zeranpin, and now Zeranpin is a filter. So in his mercy, also she is kaim ba kol ha'oros and his karim, that are made in such a way that would fulfill in this all the lights that we're talking about. In other words, it's the same lights that were originally inside of her. They were saying that those, especially the Abadika lights which she was talking about, are still shining inside of her. Even though that they theoretically they left, it sounds like a very strong Yeshimo of some sort, but there's an aspect of themselves that still remains. So he said, Barachamim also she is kaim b'balkola oros and iskarim, that she should be able to maintain all those lights that were in her during the dormita. And through that she's able to shine during Purim in all of the three worlds, even down to the world that we're living in. That's it. Have a great day, Rebbe. Thank you.